Do you ever feel exhausted as a parent? Many of us do. But it's not just because we're wearing many hats, but it's also because it takes so much work to get kids to listen. They don't clean up, they want more attention, and they need help when you least expect it. Teaching kids to listen can be simple or complex. And in this video, I'm going to give you some simple tricks that you can use right away. And if you want to learn some more and put all the pieces together, I've created a whole series of these short videos for you, along with a guidebook that you can download at kidsmoveandlearn.com. And if you give yourself a little bit of time each week, reviewing the videos, working with the guidebook, you will see significant changes in your child's behavior. But I get it, you're busy as a parent, and so you can decide what works for you. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 key ideas that help influence behavior, will help you guide behavior, and you will get a couple of key tips to start using right away. There are 3 areas that guide behavior, but in the end of this video, you're going to be able to focus on one of these ideas, use some of the tips, make a difference in getting your child to listen to your directions. So think about this word connection. What does it mean to you in terms of with your family, with your friends? How do you feel? Are you connected with them because you feel loved, safe, comforted, predictable? They're always there for you. It's because it's someone that you trust. So now think about your child and your child's connection. What is one connection or routine that makes them feel and know that you're there for them and safe? Write one that you have and go ahead and write a bunch of other ones down if you need to get them out. For me, it's the morning song that my son and I sing every day. We started off with a song and a hug and a kiss. And if you want to see more about that activity, check it out on kidsmoveandlearn.com. So now think about the moment. Think about a time when you were in the moment. What were you doing? How did you feel? What are some examples? Were you reading a book? Were you having fun playing a game? Watching some TV? What were you doing that made you just feel really relaxed, successful? Maybe you were energized. Maybe you felt silly. Being in the moment meant you were feeling some sense of joy. It's because you were doing what you love in that moment. So think about your child. What is one thing that always keeps them in the moment? Is it them playing with their special toys? Is it them singing or dancing? Is it them attracted to certain games or activities? But also think about what is something that they laugh about, something that gets them distracted, or you can catch their attention. Maybe it's something a certain person does with them. Write those ideas down and write a couple of them down, but at least get one down. So one activity that my son and I do as sort of a getting in the moment silly thing that we do once in a while is I'll get a piece of his clothing and just put it on me in a weird way. So for example, I'll take a shirt and just kind of put it on the top of my head like a hat, or I'll take a pants and put the leg on my arm, and that gets us both laughing and silly and definitely being in the moment, not thinking about all the stuff that's going on around us. So now is the third one. Think about yourself and your expectations. What do people expect from you? Like your spouse, your boss, your family, or maybe some kind of community or church type of activities. Write down some good ones and maybe some ones that you're not so keen of. Are they explicit expectations or assumed expectations? For example, are you expected to call every week, or is it assumed that you'll call every week? What about your children? Do you have a lot of expectations for your children? Here is one really big tip I want you to walk away with, is to think about your connection and your moment and your child's connection and your child's moment and how you can match those when you want to give expectations, and make sure you're clear about those expectations. Because if you're not clear, it's going to be less likely to be successful, because unclear expectations are clear as mud. Think about a time when an expectation was unclear to you. Were you asked to do something by your boss or spouse and you really didn't know what to do? How did it make you feel? Were you nervous, feel kind of bad that you didn't understand? Or did you just look it up and research it, or ask a friend or a colleague to help you know what to do? What do you think happens to kids when they aren't clear on an expectation? For example, I have an expectation about putting dishes away. And you may wonder, well, what does dishes away mean? Does it mean putting them in the sink, the dishwasher, or back in the cupboards? Or maybe to a child, it means putting their dishes away with the toys because they hear to put toys away. So then there's also the thinking about how. Have you ever seen a child trying to carry too many things at once from the table to the kitchen? They've got like things buried up under their arm like a teddy bear, and you see crumbs and drippings happening, and you just are waiting for something to fall. Putting dishes away is not so simple. As an adult, we know when we don't know things, but kids aren't aware of that. Instead, they just do. They don't think about what they know and they don't know. They really rely on us as adults to support them. So think about the expectations that you put on them. What do you expect them to do? I'm sure you have many. Let me show you a list that I had for my 4-year-old because I wanted him to do things by himself. It's a lot, right? I didn't realize how many I had until I started writing them all down, and I probably could write more on this list. I wanted to teach independence, and it showed up on my list. So I want you to take a moment and pause this if you need to, but write down your expectations that you have on your child. Especially list out the expectations that you have right now that you really want them to be following either yesterday or they're just started doing it. Things that are on your mind, and go ahead and create a big list, and then later on we'll focus on prioritizing them. So once you have your list, go through and put a check mark next to the ones that you know your child can do and you're not too worried about. And then look at your list. What do you think about your list so far? Are they making good progress considering how many years they've been walking and talking on this earth? Here's one tip I want you to remember is to feel confident about guiding behavior and this list. Anytime they don't listen to you, go back and look at this list and think about all the things they can do. You're going to have to remind yourself that they will listen to you. It'll just take time, like all of these other things. So now let's go back and look at what is on the list that they can't do yet, because I like to say they will do it soon. So review the list and add a star next to the things that you want them to do, things that stand out for you. And after you have some stars on your list, then think about right now. What is something that you really kind of wish they did yesterday or you really want them to start focusing on now? If you could just pick like one thing, what would you want to change? And make that a double star. So now that you have one clear expectation that you want met, review what you wrote about connection and moments with your child. Find a time to explain the expectation when you and your child will feel connected and at the right moment. Show them the expectation and maybe even let them practice. And don't forget, show them right before you want them to do it. Because the right moment is not when you're upset, not when they're upset. So try this out and remember that this is only one short video on your road to getting kids to change behavior. Other videos are going to dive deeper into this topic and will help you make significant changes. Let's review what we covered in this video. There are 3 areas that guide behavior: connection, being present in the moment, and expectations. Sharing clear expectations at the right time can help a child know what to do at a later time. And so if you want to make this meaningful to your individual situation, go through the guidebook, which you can find at kidsmoveandlearn.com, and follow these 3 suggestions. And when you're ready, come back and watch the next video, which is called Talking to a Brick Wall. And if you found this really helpful, go ahead and share it with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe and follow us. Thanks.